Universal is set to open their newest theme park, Epic Universe, in less than a year, and by all accounts, it looks as if it's going to redefine the standard of what a modern theme park can be. And as a result, fan interest is extremely high and ticket demand is going to be crazy. So Universal has decided they're going to sell block tickets, meaning you have to go to all the parks, meaning they're going to make you go to the other two parks whether you want to or not, which means they need to improve certain areas of those parks. Now, for years, there have been rumors that Islands of Adventure was going to get a Zelda section, probably in the old Lost Continent. Now, I played Zelda back in the day when it first came out. I played it on the NES. And eventually I quit gaming. And I say I quit gaming like drunks say they quit drinking. But in the meantime, there have been a lot of Zelda games. Like a lot. Like a lot. It's extremely popular. It sells very well, and the fans love it. And as a result of so many games, there's a lot of characters. A lot. So there's also all these great locations that people love. They wish they could visit. They're iconic. They make these lists. So the question is, how do we put that here? How do we physically translate that into something that Zelda fans will love and normies will also enjoy? So we need a wow visual factor. We need unparalleled high quality rides, and it must fit within the physical framework of our available footprint. So I present Lands of Zelda, a magical collection of lands from the Zelda universe that we can all visit. We start with Windfall Island. We have Skyloft, and you can't have Zelda without Hyrule. So for the Mythos refurb, we're going to get all the rock people, the paint people. We're going to make all of this sandstone look like a different texture of rock. We're going to put turrets over the heads and the domes. We're not going to change the restaurant quality because people love it. It's award-winning. We're not going to fix what's not broken, but we need to fix it thematically. So we're going to make it look like this. This is Windfall Inn from Windfall Island from the Wind Waker. Tranquil, scenic country inn. You can read here what thegamer.com had to say about it. I agree with their assessment. I think this would be a stunning remodel of Mythos. We'll put turrets over the domes and the faces and different rock texture. And the exterior shouldn't be that hard, but I don't know what to tell you about the interior. I mean, this is like H.R. Giger's trying to give me a nightmare. I mean, this is like, I can feel the angst coming through the design of the creators. Don't get me wrong, this is, we don't need Krakens, we don't need Cerebri, you know. Don't get me wrong, this is fantastic work. It is spectacular design and execution. It's also kind of creepy. So we're going to go for something that would fit inside this type of location. And I do not envy the interior designers. They've got a job ahead of them. Windfall also has this gate, which will be useful for the new roller coaster that can go over the top. What new coaster? Well, we're getting there. Now, in this section where the Aladdin stage show used to be, if you squint, if you look at this artwork from Skyloft, if you squint real hard, I think I can see that going in this location. So you've got the show building with miniatures on top, show elements mounted to the front, a life-size tent, an underground queue, everything on the left gets moved to the right, and the ride runs through the land. What ride? Yeah, Link does that. And this isn't like a loud screaming coaster. This is a more tranquil ride. So what if we did something like this? This is commonly known as a spinner, Gerstlauer spinner, but this is on a rail. And the rail is supported by posts with support struts and cables. Now, these posts and cables and everything could be painted to look like wood, and this would actually look like something you might see in a Land of Zelda. And not only does it look like a stunningly fun ride experience, not only does it match the aesthetic of what's in the Zelda land, but we can have like jewels along the course of the track. And you have to maintain a certain elevation in your spinner to be able to collect the points from the jewel. And as you navigate the course throughout the land, you go around the restaurant, you go over the water and back, then you'll collect enough points to be able to help Link. And, of course, you will exit through the gift shop. So that brings us to the former Poseidon's Fury location. This is actually a pretty good sized show building. I think if we went a little bit taller and bigger with it, we could pull off something like this. This is Art of Hyrule, central to the Zelda lore. And so if in the blue area is the show building with cliff miniature on front and there's a big miniature on top, they could do that 100%. The people that did Hogwarts could do this perfectly. But then when a real bird lands on top, it looks like Rodan's attacking. And I don't really know what to do that. But what about the ride? What about what's inside? Throughout the history of the Zelda franchise, there have been three main characters, Zelda, Link, and Ganon. And each of them holds a third of the Triforce, which keeps it in balance. Now, there have been a lot of versions of Ganon, like a lot of them. Every time Link beats him, he reincarnates into another form. When he's human, he's got a different name. But here is a version of him. This is buff, swole Ganon. He looks like he could take and give a punch. Big old dude. This is Big Nose Ganon. He's also pretty swole. We have Gamorrean Guard Ganon. Lots of versions of Ganon, but enough of that. What is the ride going to be? What's going to be in that building? Well, we need a new story that's simple enough for normies to follow. We're going to go through multiple locations, which is going to turn it into a Zelda's greatest hits. Now, back in the day, bands recorded albums. Those albums had songs. Some of those songs would be hits. And then the band would put out a greatest hits album with their best songs. Now, some people didn't like this, but these albums sold a lot. They made a lot of money for the record companies, and they gave fans a chance to get all the good stuff in one spot. So if you compare Zelda to a band, and each game to an album, and each location to a greatest hit, we can assemble all of them in one ride. So a simplified story, easy to follow, multiple locations, greatest hits. So let's say Ganon has stolen a magic thingamadoodle, and it will allow him to gain more of the Triforce. And if that happens, that's going to be really bad. So we need to follow him before he gets to the place and does the thing. Now we have a mystical thingamadoodle, and it allows us to follow him. And through the course of gameplay in the ride, similar to the Magic Bands, we can have passengers, they collect certain artifacts through the different locations that we go through. What locations? Korok Forest is gorgeous, it's scenic, it would be a great place to start, and it's also the home of the great Deku Tree. Now, many artists have drawn them slightly more human with eyebrows and mustaches, but I prefer the rougher, more naturalistic look here. This guy looks like he could have been built in the Jim Henson Creature Shop, and I absolutely love it. So we should definitely meet up with the Deku Tree during the course of the travels. And as we go through other lands, we could go through Kara's Domain. This is spectacular, gorgeous architecture, great color. Use some large miniatures, take up a couple of, a set. This could be a really breathtaking part of the ride. I'm not sure if there's anything particular in this land that we would be going after, but, it's gorgeous. We've also got lots of places like Deku Palace that we could go through, the Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time. We could have some business going on in here. We could visit the fairy fountains, a great location. There's a great desert location that we could hit. And eventually, we're going to end up on Death Mountain, which is where the ride should end. So Ganon is about to do the thing, but because of the artifacts we collected along the way, we help Link unleash the Triforce on him, destroying Ganon in a spectacular explosion, thus saving the world. And then we exit through the gift shop. And maybe you think, that's a terrible idea for a ride. Maybe you've played Zelda for decades and you think it's an awful idea. Admittedly, I'm sure that Morimoto-san would have a much better idea about ride elements. But the truth is, attractions like this are rarely the pure vision of one person. There is an army of talented, dedicated, passionate writers, designers, creators, builders that bring these attractions to life so that you can enjoy them. But ideas are the true currency of theme parks. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And watch out for my next video, Project Epic, or how to bring Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure up to epic standards. Until then, take it easy. See you next time.